Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Campbell. I do identify as an alcoholic and an addict. I need to state a disclaimer before I start. I in no way represent any of the anonymous programs. I'm simply here to express the benefit of working a 12-step program as outlined in the book Alcoholics Anonymous. A little bit about myself. I'm definitely a multi-substance abuser. When I reflect back on what it was like for me, I realized that I didn't care about anything or anyone. Even my son at the time, this child that melted my heart when he was born and that I fell in love with, slowly but surely began to get in my way of drinking and using, so I pushed him aside. And it was that behavior that found me in a place that was the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center in Pasadena. It was there that they made me get a sponsor. They required me to work the 12 steps. They required me to go to church twice a week. And I began to do exactly what they told me to do. And having started the step work, as outlined in the book Alcoholics Anonymous, I came to two conclusions in one decision, which was steps 1, 2, and 3. You see, I identified the problem in step 1, I identified the solution in step 2, and then step 3 was basically what the solution looked like, turning my will and my life over to the care of God. And everything was fine. And then I came to step 4, and there was a little bit of hesitation at step 4. I didn't understand what the step meant. I do realize now, and that fortunately my sponsor informed me, is that I was doing a moral inventory. I wasn't a list of dirty, nasty, filthy things. What I was trying to achieve was to learn something new about myself. I used what Bill W. said in how he applies it to a store or any type of commerce store that does a regular inventory, and all we're trying to determine is the non-sellable items that are in my character. And if I don't determine what the non-sellable items in my character are, I can't do anything about them. So doing step 4 became very interesting. I began to learn how self manifests itself in my life, and a change came in my personality, where I began to care about myself, having looked at all these defects and all the turmoil and chaos that I've caused in my life and in the lives of the people around me. I began to care about myself, and I began to care about how to rectify those situations. And I moved on to step 5, and I used my step 4 list to do step 5, which is basically just reading off the list, admitted to God and to another human being the exact natures of my wrongs. And I felt a lot of relief. A lot of step 4 is basically just resentments that I have, and it's also fears that I have, and it's also my sexual conduct, and then the people that I had harmed. So this is the list that I'm using for step 5. And I felt quite a bit of relief. About 85% of my resentments all left with, just at the end of the step 5. And that pushed me on to 6 and 7. 6 and 7 is basically an hour and a prayer. I moved to step 8. Step 8 I did on step 4, so I had my list that I was ready for. I'd already expressed my willingness to rectify the wrongs. So I moved to step 9, and it was step 9 that really the change took hold and became real evident to me. There's something very unique about being able to rectify the wrongs that you've created, and to be able to do something about that. And that's what I did. I found relief in that step, and that personality change sufficient to bring about recovery, which is how Bill W. defines a spiritual awakening, was what I experienced. And but the work wasn't over, and I needed to be able to maintain that personal, that spiritual awakening. And it's steps 10, 11, and 12 that allow me to do that. And I immediately, on the thought of step 9, I begin to work 10, 11, and 12. 10 is basically just a continued personal inventory. So I'm going to be doing 4, 5, 8, and 9 on the spot whenever necessary. And what it does is it allows me to test that spiritual awakening, that God consciousness that Bill W. talks about. It allows me to test that. And the effects are very positive. There isn't a single thing that I can go through in life that I can't alleviate with doing 10, 11, and 12. 11 just being prayer and meditation. I maintain a conscious contact with God. The importance of that step can't be overlooked. But the step 12 is really my insurance policy. It's where I begin to work with other people, and I begin to teach the program that was so freely given to me, and all the information that was so freely given to me. And as a result of these steps, life has taken on new meaning. All those things that I was willing to give up for drugs and alcohol, I begin to get back. In particularly, the relationship with my son. I get to be a father to him, the father that he deserves. I get to finally get to be the son that my mother deserves. I get to be, the friend that my friends deserve. I get to be the employee that my employers deserve. I have all these benefits, but the most unique aspect of what I've received is when I work with a newcomer and I see the terror and the fear in their eyes, and these things are in relationship to relapse, and I get to work with them, and I get to walk them through the steps, and I get to see that vanish from them. I get to see something new come about, and ultimately I get to see them take other people through those steps and have that same experience. And there's nothing more unique about it. And I would recommend those that do involve themselves in the 12 steps, don't cut yourself short, don't sell yourself short on that experience. It's life-changing and it's life-altering. My good mentor, my friend, he always tells me, and he always tells other people that the severity of my condition will determine the severity of my treatment. And for those of you that are new, and for those of you that are, thinking about doing this 12-step process, you have to ask yourself, how severe is your condition? If it's anything like mine, then you need a severe solution, which we have. The 12 steps, according to the outline program of recovery in the book Alcoholics Anonymous, is a severe solution for a severe condition. But it's not about not drinking and using, although those are byproducts of what we do. What it is about is an alteration in your personality, a change necessary to bring about that thing we call recovery, which is basically just a quality of life, a relationship with God. And ultimately what it is it's a reaction to life, a change in the reaction to life. And when my reaction to life changes, then my life does change. Thanks. I hope that you've found something beneficial from what I've said.